Hello everyone, welcome to the Sam Fury Show. In this episode, Sam from samfury.com and Aventuras from sfnonfictionbooks.com discuss Chapter 2 of Profit First, written by Mike Michalowicz. Chapter 2 is titled, How Profit First Works.
Today we are doing a deep dive into Profit First by Mike Michalowicz.
Excellent.
Specifically, we're talking about Chapter 2.
Okay.
Now, this is all about creating a system for profitability in your business.
Uh-huh.
And he uses this really clever analogy of managing your business finances, like you would manage a healthy diet.
I love that.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So to kick things off,
Yeah.
we all know the traditional formula for calculating profit, from generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP,
Right.
and that is sales minus expenses equals profit.
Yes. The old spend what's left over approach.
Exactly. And as Michalowicz points out, that can be a recipe for disaster,
It can.
especially for small businesses,
Absolutely.
or those with fluctuating income.
Yeah, for sure.
So if that's not the right way to do it, then what is?
Well, Michalowicz proposes something called Profit First. And it completely flips that traditional formula on its head.
So instead of sales minus expenses equals profit, it's sales minus profit equals expenses.
You got it.
So you're essentially paying yourself or your business first.
Exactly. And it's like ensuring you eat your vegetables before you fill up on other stuff.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So instead of having one big account for all our money, we're dividing it up.
Precisely. Michalowicz recommends setting up separate bank accounts for profit owners pay taxes and operating expenses. This small plates principle helps you visually see where your money is going and, more importantly, prioritize profit.
So owner's pay would be my salary if I own the business.
Yes.
Or if I'm applying this to my personal finances, it'd be the money I need to live on each month.
Exactly. It's the money you need to cover your essential personal expenses.
Okay.
And the brilliance of separating these funds is that it taps into some fascinating psychology.
Oh, really?
Yeah, studies have shown that when we visually separate our money, we're less likely to spend it impulsively.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about budgeting.
No.
It's about changing our relationship with money.
It is exactly. It's like setting up guardrails for your spending.
Okay.
You have money set aside for profit, so you're less tempted to dip into it.
This is making a lot of sense.
Good.
So we've got our small plates set up. What's the next step in this financial feast?
Well, the next principle is all about serving sequentially.
Okay.
Remember, we're aiming for financial health here.
Right.
Just like you'd fuel your body with nutritious food first,
Yeah.
we need to prioritize nourishing our business
Uh-huh.
or our personal finances with profit.
So we're talking about the order in which we allocate funds.
Exactly. Once your income hits your account, the first thing you do is allocate a predetermined percentage to your profit account.
Okay.
Then you allocate to owner's pay,
Got it.
followed by taxes, and finally, any remaining funds go to operating expenses.
So if there's not enough left over to cover all the operating expenses we need to cut back,
You're getting it. This system naturally forces you to prioritize profit and make conscious decisions about where your money is going.
it's like realizing you've overindulged at dinner and need to adjust your portions next time.
Exactly.
This is a really interesting shift in perspective.
Yeah.
Most budgeting advice focuses on cutting expenses,
Right.
but this is about prioritizing income first.
It is, and that's what makes Profit First so powerful.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your actions with your financial goals.
All right, so we set up our small plates.
Yeah.
And we're serving sequentially. What's next?
Well, the next principle might be my favorite.
Oh,
It's called remove temptation.
okay.
And it's all about acknowledging our human weaknesses.
We are all about honesty here, so let's hear it.
Well, just like you might avoid keeping unhealthy snacks in the house to resist temptation, Michalowicz suggests minimizing access to your profit and tax accounts.
So it's about putting the proverbial cookie jar out of reach.
Exactly. He suggests strategies like using a separate bank with limited online access for those accounts.
Yep.
The idea is to create as much friction as possible between you and the money that's earmarked for profit and taxes.
So if it's inconvenient to access those funds, we're less likely to make impulsive decisions.
That's the idea. It's like a built-in willpower booster.
Interesting.
By making it harder to access that money, you're strengthening your financial discipline and ensuring that those funds are actually used for their intended purpose.
This is brilliant. It's like setting yourself up for success by removing the temptation to stray from your financial goals.
It's about acknowledging our human tendencies and creating systems that work with them, not against them.
Okay, so we've covered small plates, we've covered serve sequentially, we've covered remove temptation.
Right.
What's the final principle?
Well, you've got your system set up.
Yeah?
Now it's time to make it a habit.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Definitely not the fourth principle, make it a habit, is all about establishing a consistent routine for managing your finances.
Okay,
Yeah.
so instead of letting things pile up and then trying to tackle everything at once,
Right.
we're incorporating these principles into our regular financial routine.
That's the idea.
So we're not talking about like a one-time allocation, right? We're
Yeah.
talking about making this a regular practice.
Think of it like going to the gym. You don't just go once and expect to be in shape forever.
Yeah.
You need to make it a regular part of your routine to see lasting results.
Okay, that makes sense. But how often are we talking about realistically?
Okay.
Should I be shuffling money between these accounts every day?
No, Mikhailovich suggests a twice-monthly rhythm.
Okay.
Find a specific time, maybe the 1st and the 15th, to review your income and allocate it according to those profit-first percentages you've set up.
Okay, so twice a month.
Uh-huh.
Got it. So it's like a little financial check-in with ourselves.
Precisely, it keeps you engaged and helps you stay on top of any adjustments you might need to make.
Yeah.
For example, maybe one month your expenses were higher than usual, or maybe you had a particularly profitable month.
Right.
This regular check-in allows you to adapt and fine-tune your system as needed.
This is starting to feel less like a rigid formula and more like a flexible framework for financial health.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
It's about having a system that provides guardrails and helps you make conscious decisions about your money.
So before we move on, can I just quickly recap what we've talked about so far?
Sure.
We're talking about dividing our finances into separate accounts, those small plates for profit, owner's pay, taxes, and operating expenses.
Uh-huh.
Then we allocate our income in a specific order, serving sequentially,
Yeah.
with profit taking that top spot.
Right.
To make sure we stick to the plan, we're making those profit and tax accounts a bit harder to access, removing temptation.
Yes.
And finally, we're making this a habit by scheduling regular financial check-ins twice a month.
You got it.
Did I miss anything?
You got it all. It's a simple yet powerful system. And the beauty of it is that it's adaptable to any business or individual. You can adjust the percentages you allocate to each account based on your specific needs and goals.
That makes sense. Not every business is at the same stage.
Right.
And personal financial situations can vary widely, too.
Absolutely.
So what happens when life throws those inevitable curveballs, those
Yeah.
unexpected expenses that just seem to pop up at the worst possible time?
Well, that's where that operating expenses account really shines.
Okay.
It's designed to cover those day-to-day expenses, and yes, even the unexpected ones.
So it's like having a built-in emergency fund.
Exactly. And by consistently allocating funds to that account,
Yeah.
you're creating a buffer to absorb those financial shocks without completely derailing your plan.
Okay.
Let's say you have a sudden car repair, or your business needs to replace a piece of equipment. Instead of panicking, you can tap into your operating expenses account and handle the situation without having to dip into your profit or owner's pay.
Oh, that's such a relief.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in those situations where an unexpected expense just throws my whole budget out of whack.
Uh-huh.
This system feels like it provides a sense of security and control.
It absolutely does. And if you find that your operating expenses account isn't quite enough to cover a particularly large or unexpected expense,
Yeah.
that's a signal to reevaluate.
Okay.
Maybe you need to adjust your allocation percentages or look for ways to reduce your operating expenses. The system provides that feedback loop to help you stay on track.
I'm really seeing the value in this approach.
Right.
It's not just about allocating money.
No,
It's about changing your mindset and building healthy financial habits.
absolutely.
Do you have any examples of businesses that have successfully implemented profit first?
Oh, absolutely. There are countless stories of businesses, both big and small, that have transformed their financial health using this system. One that comes to mind is a small bakery that was struggling to stay afloat. They were constantly chasing invoices and dipping into their personal savings to cover expenses.
I feel like I've heard that story before.
Right. They implemented profit first and started prioritizing profit from day one. They made some tough decisions about cutting unnecessary expenses and streamlining their operations within a year. They were not only profitable, but also had a healthy cash reserve. They were able to pay themselves a consistent salary and even reinvest in the business.
That's incredible.
It is.
It's proof that this system can work for businesses of all sizes and stages.
Exactly. And it's not just for businesses. Individuals can benefit from these principles as well.
Oh, okay. So how would someone apply this to their personal finances?
Well, instead of profit, think of it as savings or financial goals. Allocate a percentage of your income to your savings goals before you allocate anything else. Then, just like with the business model, allocate funds to your essential expenses, housing, food, utilities, and transportation. Finally, whatever remains can be used for discretionary spending, or as Mike Michalowicz calls it, fun money.
Got it. So it's the same idea of prioritizing what's important.
Yes.
But instead of focusing on business profit, we're prioritizing our personal savings goals and financial security.
Precisely, it's about aligning your spending with your values and aspirations.
This has been so eye-opening.
Good.
I love how this system is simple enough to understand and implement, yet powerful enough to make a real difference in people's lives.
It really is, and the best part is that it's not about deprivation. It's about creating a sustainable system that allows you to enjoy your life while also building financial security.
Well said.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what about those people who hear all this and think, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm already in debt. Is it too late for me?
That's a great question, and it's one we hear a lot. The truth is, it's never too late to start prioritizing your financial health.
So even if someone is starting from a place of debt, they can still benefit from the system.
Absolutely. It might take a little more effort and planning, but the principles still apply. Instead of allocating to a profit account, you might allocate a portion of your income to debt repayment.
So it's about adapting the system to fit your individual circumstances.
Exactly. And remember, small, consistent steps can lead to big changes over time. Don't get discouraged if you can't allocate a large percentage right away. Start with what you can and gradually increase it as you gain control of your finances.
This is such an important message.
It is.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you're facing financial challenges.
Yeah.
But this system provides a clear roadmap for getting back on track.
It's about empowering yourself to take control of your money and make it work for you instead of feeling like you're constantly chasing after it.
Yeah, it really is encouraging to hear that even if you aren't in the best place right now, you can still shift gears and
Absolutely.
get on a path towards financial well-being.
That's the whole point. It's about taking control and making those choices rather than feeling like you're at the mercy of your circumstances.
So we've explored all these fantastic principles from Profit First.
Yeah.
And this whole concept of treating your business like a healthy diet, it's just brilliant.
It's so powerful, right? It just makes financial management less intimidating and more like a natural part of a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely. And speaking of healthy lifestyles,
Yeah.
I'm curious about something.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about allocating profit first.
Yeah.
But what about those times when you don't have enough
Right.
to put into all the accounts? How do you deal with that?
That's a great question, and it's one that comes up a lot, especially when you're first implementing the system. The key is to remember that this is a journey,
Yeah.
not a destination.
Right.
So if you find yourself short on funds, the first step is to analyze your expenses.
So it's not about cutting everything to the bone.
Yeah.
It's more about being mindful and intentional about where your money's going.
Right. Look for areas where you can trim the fat, so to speak. Maybe you can negotiate a better rate on your internet service or find a more affordable supplier for your business.
Yeah.
Small changes can add up.
Okay, so what if you've trimmed the fat and you're still coming up short?
Well, that's a sign that you might need to adjust your allocation percentages.
Yeah.
Remember, the Profit First system is designed to be flexible.
Okay.
It's not about punishing yourself.
Right.
It's about finding what works.
So if a business is in a growth phase and they need to invest heavily in operating expenses, they might allocate a smaller percentage to profit initially.
Exactly. That's a smart strategy. The goal is to find a balance that allows you to nourish both your business and your profit account.
This is making me think about my own spending habits.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that there are probably a lot of areas where I could be more mindful and make some adjustments.
We all have those areas.
Yeah.
The Profit First system simply brings them to light and gives us a framework for making those positive changes.
This has been such a great deep dive. I feel like I have gained a whole new perspective on financial management.
Good.
It's not about deprivation or complicated formulas. It's about creating a system that aligns with your goals and helps you achieve that financial success.
Absolutely.
Both in business and in life.
In life, exactly.
And to our amazing listeners,
Yes.
we hope this deep dive has just sparked some new ideas and inspired you to maybe take a fresh look at your own finances.
And remember, you don't have to overhaul your entire financial system overnight.
Right.
Just start with one small step. Maybe it's setting up a separate savings account or automating a small transfer to your savings each month.
Yeah. Every little bit counts.
It does.
And the most important thing is to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Profit First. We hope you found it valuable.
Yes.
If you're interested in learning more, we highly recommend checking out Mike Mikhailovich's book.
Thanks for tuning in to The Sam Fury Show. If you found this episode useful, let us know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com to get free access to all our original summaries, which you can download as PDFs, as well as other exclusive content. It's all completely free at samfury.com.